welcome back to the Tarot Cottage. My name is Amy. I'm here today with a pick a card reading for you. So pull up a chair, get cozy. We're going to have a little chat today because we're all friends when we gather around my table. For today's pick a card topic, we are looking at a person on your mind and what are some of their late night thoughts of you? What are they thinking? What do they fantasize about? We do have 3 piles to choose from today. Pile number 1 with the Lovers and the pink flower. Pile number 2 with the Magdalene and the yellow flower. Pile number 3 with the Saint Sinner and the dark burgundy flower. So whichever pile or piles are calling out to you, there may be messages waiting, and I'm going to jump into pile number 1. We would love to welcome back our beautiful returning subscribers. Of course, thank you guys for your beautiful comments. Be sure to drop them this week because I am drawing a new name, and I'm actually waiting to hear back from my most recent winner as well. So be sure to check your notifications if you have left me comments too. If you're new to the channel, please consider joining our beautiful soul family here by subscribing to the channel, hitting your notification bell, and dropping your comment below for a chance to win a reading with me. I just offer that as a way of a thank you for everybody who comes here, who supports the channel. So don't be shy, drop your comment below for your chance to win. Pile 1, pile 2, pile number 3, what are their late night thoughts and fantasies about you? I'm going to start with pile number 1. Hi pile 1, you were drawn to the pink flower and to the Lovers card of the Magdalene Oracle, and this is your reading. What are some of their late night thoughts and fantasies about you? Now, we're going to put a bit of an 18 plus on this reading, so this is only for people 18 plus because we may be talking about certain themes, but they're also speaking here about deep connection. This Lovers card, it speaks about the physical intimacy and how it's not all just about that. It's about the deep and intimate connection that you have. It says, love in heavenly bodies, your love forever unfolds, forever illuminates. Through endless cycles and seasons, God and goddesses dream through us. And so this person could really think of you in terms of like a soulmate, somebody that has made a lasting and left a lasting impression for them too. And maybe it initiated in a physical connection, or maybe it initiated in a physical attraction for this person, but there's so much more that they've gotten from that physical attraction. They do feel sort of a deep-seated, almost spiritual connection to you as well. But this could also be an indication that their thoughts become very fiery in relation to you. So let's take a look here. What are some of their late night thoughts and fantasies associated with this connection, please? We have the 5 of Cups. And in this same card, it's very interesting because this card, it looks like she's been doused in water. And so there's a lot of emotion that gets wrapped up around these thoughts too, and not all of them are 100% positive. We have the Emperor. In these dreams and fantasies, these late night thoughts, they really think about taking a stand here. Nine of Cups. Because they think about this connection quite a bit, and they think about taking action upon it. So you may not even be in a relationship with this person. Maybe this is a past energy, but they do think about sort of maybe taking a passive approach versus applying a new force. Because in these late night thoughts and fantasies, they get to be the winner. You know, they get to have everything that they want, and everything that they want is a deep connection perhaps with you. Because back of the deck, we have the Queen of Cups, and here's the 10 of Swords. Oh my goodness, it's almost like this person's thoughts, every single thought is a passionate thought. And sometimes that thought is so focused on you that it's almost depleting. It like depletes my energy, or it stops me from being able to function in a very clear way. It's like my focus is so on you that sometimes, again, it can lead me to despair. Because this is what I really, really want. But the absence of that leads me to despair. I do feel like sometimes they get motivation for these late night thoughts by keeping a little tab on you or peering in on your social media. It's like they get a little bit of a inspiration by watching you, but sometimes whatever it is you're posting or whatever it is they're seeing, it kind of, it bursts their bubble. So it's like they go in to watch you, or they take a little peek at your social media to get the inspiration for these thoughts in the evening. But then sometimes it goes against them. Sometimes what they see really inspires them. It lets them go off to the races. Other times it thrusts them into this despair. makes them realize that maybe there are obstacles to getting what they want in this situation, because it feels like this person's almost has a huge crush on you, but maybe you feel far away, or you're not attainable to them in their mindset right now. In these late night fantasies as well, they do think about communication with you. It's like alleviating your fears if you have any of the similar fears here. And there's an emphasis on water energy here for the Divine Feminine. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Gemini as well. Aries energy coming through. Here's the beautiful Empress. It feels like their late night thoughts are a big mixed bag, but you're always the inspiration. It's like you have the power to make me feel abundant, or you have the power to make me feel limited. And both of those things happen when they're in constant reflection of you. But they're also very self-critical in these thoughts. It's like, what can I do? What action can I take? But every time they get inspired to take an action and to take a stand, they get really fearful as well. I will say here too that it feels very secretive, like the thoughts that they're having, they may not have shared them with you. Their feelings, they may not have shared them with you or other people in this moment. And even in the past, when they tried to avoid how they felt here, they were lying to themselves. In these fantasies, they're always in control, and they're always taking a stand, and they get exactly what they want, because it's a dream, it's a fantasy, and they're able to dictate what actions they're taking. Ace of Cups. And it feels like in these fantasies, there's a certain understanding that comes into play, but it's because we show each other. So it could be through a physical act in these fantasies, in these late night thoughts, where everything gets communicated. It's like, I don't even have to tell you how I feel, because I'm going to show you how I feel. And I will say again, in these fantasies, in these late night thoughts, they are very smug about their performances. They're very smug about the realities, or I'm sorry, about what not even the realities, but their reality within the dynamic of their fantasy. They're really smug about how they perform. They're really smug about their position afterwards. I do get a sense here too about sometimes they think about teaching you new things. So take that as that resonates to you, but teaching you new things. And not just in the dynamics of something physical, but also I feel like teaching you about how they feel by taking more of a stand. They fill up their own cup when they're thinking about you. It serves a purpose, these fantasies, these thoughts. It kind of rejuvenates them. Here's the Nine of Pentacles. And I just heard worship. It's like in these thoughts, they're worshiping you because you deserve to be worshipped. And like all you have to do is be yourself, and you deserve to be worshipped because you're like the best thing since sliced bread. But there is an emphasis on, we don't have to tell each other how we feel. We don't need that news. We already are established. We know what we want. We know we feel secure just through being together and acting. They also think about sort of taking their time with you, Pile 1. Taking time in this fantasy. Three of Cups. And they are also emphasizing, reunion. So you could be perhaps in separation from this person at this time, or they're just really emphasizing having fun the next time that they see you. Here with the Three of Cups, there is a certain amount of education that comes in with like a friendship energy during this event or during these fantasies for them. There's an emphasis on abundance and an emphasis on joy and having fun. So but again, learning while we go, observing and learning while we go. So they sometimes fantasize just about watching you. And it could just even be you watching you dance or watching you move in some way. They have fantasized about taking you out and then watching you on like a dance floor, maybe even with your friends, just like watching you. It's like it makes them feel, and I'm saying he because there's an emphasis on masculine energy, but it doesn't have to do with gender at all. It can be any type of energy. They're just dealing with that for ease of execution. But there's a masculinity about this person that they get a lot of their ego from like traditional views. It's like they like to watch you. They like to watch you dance. They like the way that you move. We have the 10 of Cups and we have the Wheel of Fortune. And it's through this fantasy that they feel like everything turns around. Everything is clear. We have the full spectrum. It's togetherness. It's belonging. And then everything sort of begins there. It's like with this understanding, with this mutual feeling, with this togetherness, everything starts there, and that's the Wheel of Fortune in my life, and that's the moment that everything goes right. Here with the Page of Swords, it's like they're observing that. And maybe here they're observing here over this 10 of Pentacles. Now the 10 of Pentacles can indicate commitment cycles. So perhaps this is like a fantasy because there's a commitment cycle that's in the way. That doesn't have to resonate with you, but if it does, you'll know that this is your message. But it's like, maybe they're observing you in a solid foundation. Maybe that's what bursts their bubble sometimes when they think about reuniting in this way. What do they think about? What are their late night thoughts, please, for pile number 1? We have here muddled, unclear thinking coming out with short journey. So it's like clearing out the clutter immediately. Short journey and hesitation because the horse is lifting its leg. It's like, I'm not going to hesitate in these fantasies. In these fantasies, I take a stand. I'm not passive. I'm an active participant. We have here, pay attention to your work. And I feel like they would really emphasize in these fantasies too, you feeling good and you feeling abundant after the fact. You're the work. Paying attention to you, paying attention to what you like. They think about that. They think about what you would enjoy. Because we have stepping into a new experience. Maybe the two of you have never had that chance to be physically intimate together, for instance, in these fantasies is what they focus on. So it's like them being vulnerable and allowing themselves to step into new things. Again, an aspect of teaching each other new things too. We do have depression, anxiety, and worrying that someone is against you. That's the second time that card showed itself to me here. Because there's a certain amount of anxiety that comes along with all of this. They try to maintain in these fantasies this sense of empowerment and control and strength. But the truth is that the reason why this stays in fantasy is because they're worried that perhaps it's not available to them at this moment, or maybe they're worried about a rejection, but that's why they maintain it in fantasy at this time. The moon, back of deck, represents changes in your life now, perhaps dreaming about this. Again, fantasy and dreams coming into play here, but also the prep mode. These fantasies are almost like prep mode before we execute something. So Spirit uses our inspiration that we sometimes apply to fantasy in order to get our sort of directives in place, in order to kind of help us steer our ship in the right direction of where we want to be. I do feel like this person may continue to watch you in the future as well. I don't know that they are truly motivated to take these fantasies into the 3D at this moment in time. They could be waiting for a perfect moment to launch. We have pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. And the red flags in this situation could be other commitment cycles. We're just going to put that out there. Please take that as it resonates. Yeah, healing family issues coming in. It says, but you deserve love. You are lovable. So even if this person on your mind holds back from implementing these fantasies, they don't want you to interpret that as some type of lack of caring, because the truth is that they have these fantasies for a reason, because they feel a loss of you. They feel like they can't have you, or they feel like they've already lost this. So this is a way for them to almost tend to their wounds or try to ease that suffering. What sort of fantasies do they have for pile number 1, please? What late night thoughts are going through their mind for pile number 1? I listened to every word you said. Being very attentive to the divine feminine. I would do anything for you, and I know you feel the same. And that's the thing, is that's why they are curious about what you would like and how they can make that happen for you. And they would listen. It's like they like vocal energies, like they would listen to what you're directing them to do. And there'd be a complete, again, full spectrum, a complete understanding of like, yes, this is mutual. I have nothing I need to be fearful of. This is a mutual energy. And I get everything that I want. I feel finally secure in how I feel about you because my fantasies have been brought to light. but I wonder if I'm strong enough to take the stand. I want to give you as much as you give me in this experience. It says, I wish I believed in me like you do, and will I get what I want? Will I get what I want? It feels like they're waiting for this fantasy to come to light, waiting for these late night thoughts to be brought into fruition. The truth is that they think about you every single day, and these thoughts and fantasies would come in every single day. Let's get a charm bowl for pile number 1, please. What was the very last late night thought they had about pile 1 in the bowl? Strength reversed. I wonder if I'm strong enough was one of the last thoughts coming in. When they were having these thoughts, when they were having these fantasies about you, they were really strapped in with vulnerability. That could be why we started with the 5 of Cups at the beginning of your spread, because their last thought were not very abundant. Because when they thought about the opportunity, they instinctively got brought down to fear. We have this little charm stuck to my finger. I always think about Taurus. I think about, actually I think about Aries as well, because I think about the Emperor. We have the letter T, L, N, M, and A. We have Pisces energy here, an unfinished business, the internet coming into play. We have the wing rising above, and we also have secrets with the High Priestess. I always think of secrets with the High Priestess with the curled shell, because it holds little secrets. We can't see what's in the bottom of that shell. Pile number 1, that's what I have for you today. I hope it resonates with you. Drop your comment below for a chance to win a reading with me, and be sure to hit your notification bell, and be sure to check your notifications if you have left recent comments. I'm waiting to hear back from my most recent winner, so be sure to do that too. You can also check out my link for Etsy for a personal reading if you feel called to, and that link is below, and I do update that shop daily, so keep checking back. But I hope you come back here and visit me at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope you have a great day. Hello, pile number 2. You were drawn to the yellow flower. You were also drawn to the Magdalene card here from the Magdalene Oracle, and this is your reading. What are their late night thoughts and fantasies about you at this time? Now, the Magdalene Oracle in this guidebook has a beautiful sort of message. It's like a beautiful poem. I'm not going to read the whole thing for you, but it does speak about going forth and being true to yourself, and a void that wants to be filled. Stepping into it with courage and strength, like a budding rose searching for the light, which is kind of beautiful. And Magdalene, you know, Mary Magdalene in the Bible, she was very misunderstood. So there's perhaps a lot of fear that their intentions or the desires or their feelings are very misunderstood, or even coming from your perspective, how this connection may feel very misunderstood. There's also an aspect of, with Magdalene, like being a bit of a temptation as well. So let's take a look here and see what some of their thoughts are, their late night thoughts. Some fantasies that come in, please, for pile number 2. I'm using the Fountain Tarot for you today. What are their late night thoughts of pile number 2, please? We have the 7 of Cups. We have the Strength. They really focus on your hourglass figure. They're really focusing on an hourglass figure. And I just heard the term cake, so I don't know if that's referencing the behind or something. We have the Chariot. Leo energy with the Tower. These late night thoughts end in a very explosive way. So we'll word it like that, but you can read between the lines. This ends in a very explosive way. There's a sense of arrival. There's a sense of 2 people arriving in a very explosive way. This feels like a fantasy. This is what it feels like, a dream that they have, a dream realm. And they don't want to wake up from it. Like, it feels like a good dream, and they don't want to wake up from it. We have the Page of Pentacles. Because in this dream, all things are possible, and this is possible. You're available in this dream. We have the Lovers. Very strong emphasis here. So many major arcanic themes: the Strength, the Chariot, the Tower, the Lovers. Back of deck, the beautiful Empress. And the Ten of Pentacles, making you feel very secure, making you feel like you're taken care of. You can see that she's cloaked here. I feel like there's a lot of aftercare. Even a part of their fantasy is a part of this process. They just really think about you and about what you want to experience and want to see. Now, they're including themselves in that message because this is a fantasy for them, and this is something that they don't want to wake up from. I keep hearing the term lost boy, you know, like Neverland. And there's a certain amount of this fantasy that does include the two of you being off somewhere on your own where you can't be found or where you are free. But it's like they're showing the lost boys inside that little hidden room or the little hidden house that they created for themselves in the woods. So it's like really hard to find. So these late night thoughts and fantasies, they happen in a situation where the two of you are hard to pin down, you're hard to find. But you're together. Three of Wands. I have to say that their thoughts towards you are very, very physical. They're very sexual. They're very fiery. But they're also, like, there's a sense of them waiting until you, like, they would never force anything upon you, waiting until you're ready, waiting for their own enjoyment until you've had enjoyment, for instance. Here's the Lovers again. And like seeing you completely unclothed, like seeing you completely full spectrum. They want to see it all. And they want to reveal themselves to you too, because I feel like there's a real vulnerable act there. A real vulnerable act when it comes to that. And that would test their strength. I feel like they're a little insecure about how they feel about their own body. So that makes them, it tests their strength. And it also strengthens the connection because it's a mutual moment of vulnerability. A lot of these fantasies come from the solar plexus, the sacral chakra rather. And they do empower them. Like they get a lot out of these fantasies. Knight of Cups. They're very giving and generous and a little bit traditional in some of these thoughts and fantasies too. Like they want to be the person that gives you the gift. They want to be the person that is the knight in shining armor. They want to act like they are, like they, in these fantasies, they feel like a king, like they feel very abundant. And it's because they're able to invent themselves in a way that is perfect for you or perfect for the situation. They can be the biggest, best version of themselves in that scenario. There's also an emphasis on like, we'll never turn back. Once we experience this together, we're going to want to be together all the time. We have the World. It also kind of feels like a new opportunity in their eyes. Like you may not have experienced this with this person. You could just be a temptation, for instance. This is like a real leap of faith into a new situation that they feel like they would take, but they also feel like it's unfinished. Like there's been a setup here. This should have already happened. It feels like unfinished cycles. Here's the Nine of Swords. And I will also say that this is not a brand new energy or fantasy. They have thought about this and thought about this and thought about this and thought about this. Like this has been something that they've wrapped their head around multiple times. And they've also seen it from multiple different angles. This is just a singular fantasy. Sometimes their fantasies will shift to something different. Sometimes their fantasies, perhaps they'll have more confidence or more strength. This is like, they have like options to draw from in their fantasies because they've done it a lot when it comes to you. They've had a lot of late night thoughts about you. This is them even losing sleep over it, having dreams about you, waking up with these late night thoughts. And because they've had so many of them, they have a collection of them waiting to kind of pull from when they feel like moving into that place, moving into that fantasy. Because I feel like they're being pulled in different directions in this moment, and because they want to arrive here in this position, it's like this fantasy is only here because this is what they actually want to see happen. You have connection. Your connection is eternal and unbreakable. Now, they also sort of add a caveat to the end of this fantasy sometimes where they think that it changes everything, but then also requires further action beyond that point to perhaps clear out some clutter or prepare us for further union. We have synchronicity, two people completely in sync, amazing moments of synchronicity, and there's like this feeling of two people arriving at the same time. Either you go first or you arrive at the same time. They're also talking here about multiples, you know, multiple things, multiple acts. And we have marriage here. Blending together, two divine counterparts blending together. Remarkable. Notice everything remarkable about your relationships. Noticing everything remarkable about you, especially in the physical sense. The emphasis being on the divine feminine. And making her feel comfortable, because even though she's standing here in this pool of water, she has this warm cloak or warm quilt around her in this moment. Now, they are emphasizing commitment cycle, so that could even be a part of their thoughts and fantasies of what would it be like for us to be together all the time? What would it be like for us to be committed together? Now, this commitment could also come in a different form for you, pal, too, especially if you feel like you or this person have that as an obstacle. But please take that as it resonates. We have secret admirer and temptation. It will test you. So they are not being clear with you in this moment about how they truly feel. They are watching you in secret. Maybe because with the lovers, they have a sort of a decision to make. We have here rainbow. The most difficult part of a situation is over. And they do fantasize in these late night thoughts that once the act is complete, it like changes everything. Older man, dealings a relationship with an older man, and protection from negative forces beyond your control. So there's an emphasis here on thorns amidst the roses. So it's like there's going to be things in these fantasies, even when they think about implementing them, that interfere with their empowerment and make them wonder if it's possible to achieve their fantasy with you. Because with the spider, there's like a certain amount of logic that's applied to how I've woven my own destiny, and now I have to operate within the destiny that I've woven. But what they do fantasize is pleasure with a close-up friend. Pleasure with a close friend, the close-up card. Now, when I think of the dog, I also think of loyalty. So what are some of their late night fantasies, please? I'm going to use the Entanglement Oracle for you for some extra messages. What are some of the late night fantasies and thoughts they have towards pile number 2, please? I want to spoil you with gifts. I always think of this as like a tower of presents, though, but they think so highly of you. So even if there was a tower, we do have the tower in your reading, where they're afraid of the consequences of their act, they want to spoil you. They want to put you on the top of that pedestal because they think so highly of you. And they want to show you. I feel like they've been waiting to show you. You awoke something in me in these fantasies. And even if they can't commit right now, you can see that this energy of her kind of coming out of the skull, the third eye is open. These fantasies awake a truth. They awake a certain intensity and connection and attraction that they have for you. But once it awakens, we have to do something with it. This wasn't the plan. It says, I compare everyone to you, coming out with that card as well. Perhaps it wasn't the plan to just fantasize about this situation. Perhaps they have to keep life in balance, or they're worried about justice energy. And there is also a message that comes through about them having to make a decision about this connection, maybe between partners. We have here, I still remember how you smell. So it's a very sort of, like all the senses are involved. They're able to really manifest and really put themselves in that time and place. It says, I haven't forgotten about what we shared, the dream catcher. And they let all of those good dreams in, and they try to catch all of the bad ones so that they don't feel limited by them. Back of the deck says, in this world, you would fit in so well into my life, in this fantasy world. Let's get a bowl for pile number 2, please. Their last late night thought. The most recent late night thought. Whoops, these are from the last spread. We'll just throw them back in the bowl. Emphasis on Aries energy, though. The Hermit reversed. The Death energy. The Justice reversed. So one of their latest late night thoughts about you, pal, too, it just felt like it's not fair. That's what it feels like. It's like it doesn't feel fair. It's like I don't want to be retreating. I want to express myself, but it feels like I'm trying to hold something in balance and I'm trying to keep something in balance. Now the death cycle here, this could be them fearful of kind of moving this fantasy into reality because they're afraid of switching a friend zone into something more. Perhaps they're in a commitment cycle and they aren't available in this moment too, which is sometimes indicated here by the awokement card, or being awakened. But they just were feeling frustrated in the last thought about you. They were feeling frustrated, like it's not fair that we feel this way. It's like right person, wrong timing. We have A and J and Z and P. We have the little cherries as well. I always think about initiating new energies and sexual energies, breaking innocence. We have the tree of life. I do think about a foundation that has been formed. This could be a tree of life within the dynamics of a commitment cycle. This could also be what the two of you have created with each other up to this point. So it could be friendship. Hello Kitty. And we also have the Pisces energy. Live, laugh, and love. I always think of those kitchen signs, and we have forget-me-nots. And in these fantasies too, they want to establish that it's unforgettable. The fantasies are unforgettable. The experience is unforgettable. Pile number 2, that's what I have for you today. I hope it resonates with you. If it does, drop your comment below for a chance to win a reading with me. You can also check out my link for Etsy for a personal reading if you feel called to. And I hope that you come back here and visit me at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope you have a great day. Hello, pile number 3. You are drawn to the burgundy flower and to the Saint and Sinner card, and this is your reading. What are their late night thoughts and secret fantasies about you, the person on your mind? Now, the Saint Sinner card in the Magdalene Oracle does talk about assumptions that we make about other people that could be wrong. They say that not everything is as it seems, perhaps, in this connection, or how they feel about you. What they're showing you in the 3D may not be exactly how they feel, and some of their fantasies and late night thoughts might correct some of your assumptions on what they are feeling. There's also an emphasis here on being good versus being bad, having to weigh, is this right, is this wrong, with the Saint Sinner energy as well. And even with the burgundy flower, I just get a sense of empowerment, but almost a burnout of empowerment. So let's take a look here and see what are their late night thoughts and fantasies, secret fantasies about pile number 3, please. It's like stuck between being a saint or a sinner in these moments. We have the Ace of Cups. I also feel like there's an emphasis on when they're fantasizing, when they're thinking about you in a very physical way especially, they're torn between the emotional connection that they feel and maybe a primal urge that they're feeling. 9 of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune. Because in these thoughts and these fantasies, they do think about having to hold back if the opportunity presented itself. It's like, do I have the power to hold back? That's what I'm feeling. We have the 3 of Swords. We have the Moon. Some of these thoughts have been immediate, like they haven't, some of these thoughts have come in as dreams, like they had no control over them. In some of these dreams in which they had no control, they were presented with a scenario, they were presented with you, and they were presented with this decision to make. 2 of Swords, back of deck. They were presented with a decision about you in this dream. And in this dream, they were having to hold force and hold back, keeping themselves away from abundance. This is a beautiful wheat field, which is beautiful for abundance, but they're keeping themselves out, and potentially because they're trying to avoid hurting other people, which is where the Saint and Sinner energy could come in. So a dream, a specific strong dream that they've had about you, pile 3, that came in, was that they were presented with the perfect opportunity to be with you, and they felt like they had to hold back. I just heard red sky at night, a sailor's delight. Because meeting you in the dream realm is delightful for them. But also, again, presents them with some pretty impressive like lessons and motivations. Like it presents them with challenges that they're actually facing in their heart space when it comes to you. And it's presenting them with ways in which they are stuck or limited when it comes to your connection. And it presents them with a scenario in which they can navigate that the obstruction. We can't deny that there could be third party here for someone watching, so please take that as it resonates. We have the Nine of Swords, we have the Two of Pentacles, and we have the Five of Swords. Yeah, I can't deny that they are juggling a lot. It's like their life gives them empowerment. These dreams and fantasies of you also give them some type of empowerment. And ultimately, they are torn between the saint-sinner energy when it comes to you. They are the saint, they are also the sinner. It's a very nuanced situation or a very nuanced feeling between the two of you. I'm hearing that song, that old country song, torn between two lovers, feeling like a fool. Seven of Cups reversed, the King of Wands. And ultimately here too, in these fantasies and these dreams, all illusions are removed. All obstacles are kind of shown to us clearly, and then we have to deal with pushing them out. We have to deal with getting them out of the way. It feels like this person is very productive in their fantasies and dreams. It almost feels like they're working through a blueprint. And they're using, as part of those blueprints, they're using inspirations, obstacles that are actually present for the two of you. And in these fantasies and dreams, it's like they're trying to find solutions for themselves. They're trying to see what the scenario would feel like if they had the courage to create change, or versus what would happen if they didn't create change. And I will say here, they don't have a lot of confidence or readiness in being able to perhaps take the lumps that are necessary with creating change here right now. Yeah, Hanged Man coming out, wanting to come sideways, but we're going to put it upright for ease of space. Because their crown's always lit up, but they say my hands are tied. It's like, I want this, I want these fantasies, I want to be with you, but I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place right now. So sometimes in these fantasies, I can't lie, they surrender to holding back from you. And that takes a lot of strength, I feel like, too. They get a little frustrated, like there's a chip on their shoulder, even within the dynamics of this dream. But they almost hold back to, partly because perhaps of current investments and responsibilities, but also because there's something special about you. These fantasies almost require a certain level of respect for this connection. So maybe they could have rampant physical fantasies about anybody else. But when it comes to you, you demand more compassion, more care, more thought, and more thoughtfulness. There's an emphasis on reuniting with you from the past. So they're very nostalgic when it comes to you. They put you on a pedestal here, and they want to protect that innocence in some way too. And that's also a part of almost their psychological, subconscious obstacle, is like seeing you evolved, moving you out of this innocent mindset and moving you into something more primal, more grown up. In these fantasies, that's their way of being generous with you and honoring you, is by holding back and not just being aggressive, which perhaps is what they kind of want to do sometimes in these fantasies because they're frustrated. And again, with the Nine of Swords, this came up in pile 1 too, because there's a certain amount of rumination that this has created. This is not one singular thought that just happened. This is not one singular dream that's come in for them. This has happened over and over. So they've had the chance to come up with different scenarios, come up with different obstacles. We have the Five of Swords. We have the Five of Swords poking out underneath the Two of Pentacles as well. And even Spirit says that in the dream realm, it's the purpose of the dream realm is to help us to organize things that we're sort of stuck in or stuck by in our subconscious during the day. So that's the time where everything gets repaired in our bodies and our mind. But the problem is that they bring the conflict into the dream realm, and then they don't push through them all the time in these dreams as well about you. And so they're still very self-preserving. They tell themselves that they're being generous with you and holding back for the good of other people. But the truth is they're actually holding back even in the dream realm because they're afraid. It's like they're afraid of actually conjuring up a scenario where it's not mutual, you don't feel the same, or coming up with a scenario where they fail and they lose and everybody loses, but they're the biggest loser of them all. The dream realm is actually preparing them to try to end a rumination and try to end a karmic trench, because when it comes to you, there is habit forming energy here. They've formed a habit of thinking about you, fantasizing about you, comparing you to other energies. And that, unfortunately, because they've always held back from the solutions, it has been holding them back. They almost have a guilt surrounding what they think and fantasize about when it comes to you. And even here with the Nine of Swords, again, overthinking, lots of physical energy, lots of expansion with the Three of Wands, but also an emphasis on waiting too, waiting to be able to actually accomplish this in the 3D. Here is the Fool and the Eight of Swords. And even within the dynamics of their fantasies, it's like they don't allow themselves success because of guilt, perhaps. Because of that guilt, they don't allow themselves the possibility of success sometimes. And that's because of a lack of confidence. It's almost like they're afraid to be honest with themselves within the dynamics of their dreams and their fantasies when it comes to you. And even these late night thoughts. What are their late night thoughts and fantasies for pile number 3, please? Lots of Scorpio energy here today. We have here tested. Your strengths and weaknesses are being tested. And that's exactly what I'm feeling in their fantasies and dreams, is that you test them. It's like you come in as a temptation and it tests their resolve. It tests their focus. It tests their, whoops, I just threw it across the room. Past life connection, 6 of Cups. We reunite with our loved ones over and over again through many different lives and through many different forms within the lives that we're in. Like, just because you could be in a physical separation with this person doesn't mean the connection has been severed. There is still a spiritual connection that exists here. We have your heart. You begin to feel your heartbeat faster when you are close. And there's something here. They're emphasizing the solar plexus. They're emphasizing, gaining empowerment. How that's supposed to be the purpose and the function of our fantasies and dreams, is to help us feel more empowered. And yet this person, it's like it doesn't serve that purpose for them because they don't have the confidence to allow the truths of their situation or the truths of their feelings to completely come to the surface. But they are stuck in the past when it comes to you, and very, very nostalgic too. What are some of thoughts and feelings they've had during these late night thought sessions and fantasies surrounding pile number 3, please? You are wrong coming out, drawn to the saint sinner energy, feeling wrong for their desires, feeling wrong for what they want to do in this desire. But this energy could be exactly what they need to face that feeling of being wrong, face that feeling of being judged. I'm too afraid to talk to you. This could be happening in the 3D where there's a lot of lack of contact or no contact at all. But I feel like even in some of these fantasies, specifically dreams for this person that have come in, I feel like they're dreaming about you involuntarily sometimes. So these late night thoughts come because they've been dreaming about you involuntarily, and it just spirals into the overthinking when they're in the waking realm. But even within these dreams, sometimes they're paralyzed. They don't talk. They don't take the opportunity because they feel like they have to, or they have to hold themselves back. But the truth is that it's not even the environments that are actually holding them back. It's their fear of that unknown. It says, I want you in these dreams. And it tests them, the 8. But now is not the time. It's like, I have to hold back. I have to surrender to a delay or a wait. Your family won't like me. Saint sinner, worried about commitment cycles. That could be why even in these thoughts and fantasies, they don't allow themselves to progress. I feel like this person really wants to see themselves as a person filled with integrity, somebody who does the right thing. But true integrity is being honest. That's the hardest thing, is being honest with ourselves and other people. Now is not the time. But it says, I'm coming, trust. And this is like the magician energy of trying to conjure trying to actually conjure up solutions through these thoughts and fantasies, perhaps even trying to conjure up a reunion. But yet, even when that happens, it's like their instinct, like immediately filled with fear. It's kind of like thinking that you're going to win the lottery or really wanting to manifest the lottery, but immediately your ego will throw in all of these fears of like, well, what happens if you do? What happens with people knocking on your door? What happens if you're unsafe? So it's like they come up with this desire because they have this desire for reunions. And the dream realm is supposed to help us come up with solutions to the obstacles in our way towards our reunions. But this person keeps saying, now's not the time because of this, because I'm wrong, because I'm afraid, even though this is what I want. So this is the inspiration that's supposed to lead to more. And unfortunately, they are micromanaging that manifestation right now, which could affect a lot of delays here and true implementation of the future of this connection. Let's get a charm bowl for pile number 3, please. Their latest thought, late night thought about pile 3 in the bowl. We have the 6 of Wands reversed, the Chariot and the Tower reversed. So the latest late night thought that they had about you, pile 3, was about a lack of confidence and feeling kind of pulled in different directions. They are trying to avoid permanent change or upheaval. And I feel like this is very physical for someone watching. It may not resonate with everyone, but I do feel like this person's in conflict because they are in a commitment, or you are in a commitment, or a combination thereof. And that's why they're juggling so much. And that's why they feel so limited. But the limitations are only a product of their own limitations, and they are having to face a fear to jump out of it. The dream realm and the fantasy realm is being a reflection of that. I just heard secret too. We have who loves soup in the bowl. It's a button, so that might resonate with someone. We have A and F, S and I. We also have loyalty with the dog, loyalty in a commitment cycle, and somebody who perhaps is concerned for their home realm, and that's why there is a limitation to how much energy they flood into solutions with these fantasies. We do have temptation with the siren, and we have the shamanic wing, the feather, the wing. We also have the high priestess here. So secrets, wisdom codes. All right, pile number 3, that's what I have for you today. I hope it resonates with you. If it does, please drop your comment below for your chance to win a reading with me. You can also check out my link for Etsy for a personal reading, and I do update that shop daily, so keep checking back. And I hope that you come back here and visit me at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope you have a great day.